Let's talk about space. It's this idea that we all think we understand, this infinite blackness. But it's also filled with things so huge and so powerful, they're almost impossible to imagine. We're going to dive into that today because honestly, the universe is so much bigger and frankly, so much scarier than we give it credit for. So I want to start with a question for you. When you're out somewhere really dark, far away from the city, and you look up at the stars, what does it feel like? Because if you really, really look, something strange can happen. That perspective just flips, and suddenly it doesn't feel like you're looking up at all. And that feeling, that weird, dizzying sensation, well, that brings us to our first idea. The very real fear that infinity can spark in us. It's a kind of cosmic vertigo, and it actually has a name. It's called astrophobia. And no, it's not just a fear of aliens or asteroids hitting the Earth. It's way deeper than that. It's that gut punch feeling you get when you start to grasp how overwhelmingly, terrifyingly huge everything is, and how incredibly small you are. Like a single speck of dust floating in an endless black ocean. This right here, this is exactly what it feels like. You're not standing safely on the ground looking up at a pretty sky anymore. No, you're just clinging to the side of a giant rock and you're staring down into a bottomless black pit. The only thing stopping you from falling forever is this invisible force we call gravity. And you want to know how far we can actually venture into that abyss? 5 miles. That's it. 8 kilometers straight up, and the air is too thin to breathe. The environment becomes deadly. You could walk that distance in an hour. Everything, and I mean everything, beyond that tiny, fragile bubble around our planet will kill you. Okay, so let's stay a little closer to home then. Our own solar system must be a bit more friendly, right? Wrong. So wrong. Earth isn't just a home. It's a microscopic oasis in the middle of what is, for all intents and purposes, an absolute death trap. I mean, just look at this menu of horrible ways to die. Go to Mercury, you're either instantly boiled at 800 degrees or flash frozen at -290, your choice. Venus? Oh, that's a classic. You get crushed, burned, and dissolved in acid rain, all at the same time. Jupiter? You just fall and fall until the pressure literally crushes you into a diamond. There is no safe place out there. So, if our own neighborhood is that hostile, you can imagine what happens when we zoom out even further. The scale of what lies beyond our little solar system isn't just big, it's genuinely incomprehensible. Our brains are not wired to understand these kinds of distances. To even try, we had to invent completely new units of measurement. We start with the distance from the Earth to the Sun. Light takes about 8 minutes to make that trip. Then we jump to a light year. That's almost 6 trillion miles. And believe it or not, even that ridiculously huge number becomes way too small, way too fast. Just try to follow these numbers. It's over 4 light years just to get to the next star over. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, is 100,000 light years across. Want to visit the next big galaxy, Andromeda? That'll be a 2.5 million light year trip. And our galaxy is just one tiny part of a structure that's 1 billion light years long. All of that inside a universe we can see that's 93 billion light years wide. It's just absurd. Now, you'd think in a universe that is this vast with trillions of galaxies and countless planets, it would have to be noisy, right? It should be absolutely teeming with life. And yet, when we point our telescopes out there and listen, all we hear is silence. A profound, great, cosmic silence. This is the core of a puzzle we call the Fermi Paradox, and the science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke summed it up perfectly. If life should be everywhere, where is everybody? And the terrifying thing is, no matter what the answer is, it's not a comforting one. Let's just break down this chilling dilemma. So, what if we're not alone? Well, that could mean the universe is filled with potential threats we can't even imagine. And it would also mean there's nothing special about us at all. But what if we are alone? Then we're just a tiny, bizarre accident, a lonely fluke adrift in a mind-bogglingly huge and empty void. So why the silence? Well, one potential answer is a pretty spooky idea called the Great Filter. It's the theory that somewhere along the line, from primordial ooze to a galaxy-spanning civilization, there's a barrier, an evolutionary wall that is almost impossible to get past. The really scary question is, where on the timeline is that filter? Yeah, this is the big one. Is the hardest part over, or is it still coming? Maybe the filter is behind us. That leap from a single cell to a complex creature took over 2 billion years on Earth, so maybe that step is just unbelievably rare. Or, and this is the one that might keep you up at night, maybe the filter is ahead of us. Maybe every intelligent species everywhere eventually just wipes itself out before it can ever really reach for the stars. Okay, I know. All of this cosmic dread can be, well, a little much. So for this last part, let's just pull it all back. Let's zoom all the way in from the edge of the universe, past all the galaxies and nebulas, to just one tiny specific point of light. Back in 1990, the Voyager 1 spacecraft was way out past the orbit of Neptune. It was about to leave our solar system forever. But just before it did, the astronomer Carl Sagan asked the team at NASA to do one last thing: turn the camera around and take a picture of home from 6 billion kilometers away. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, lived out their lives. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph, they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot.
Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.
So in the end, that's what it all comes down to. Like it or not, for right now, this is it. The Earth is where we make our stand. And when you look at it that way, against the terrifying, silent, beautiful backdrop of the universe, the real question isn't what's out there. It's about what we do, right here. How will we choose to stand together on our pale blue dot?